trying to connect. There we go. Hey everyone, I was just putting together someone's order, working on the go package that they ordered, which are they're my current favorite packages to make. And I thought, you know what, summer is approaching, people are about to really start traveling, so let's talk through some tips and tricks to make your traveling as smooth as possible and show you what we try to put into our on-the-go packages. And hopefully, you know, if you're like me, you're going to scramble and it's going to be 5 days before you're leaving and you're going to go to place the order and say, Hillary, can you still do this? And we're going to say yes. But if you're traveling in July and you want to place this order now, great, you're just going to have it on hand. So this is the one I was building. And one of the things I love about these is that I feel like in travel is when novelty goes further than like any other time. You might have markers and notebooks and puzzle books, but there's something about the fresh new that really gets the kids' attention when they're stuck and they don't have a lot of things to do. So this was ordered as two $50 on-the-go packages, and after my staff agreed with me, I was like, do you think this is okay to do? I ended up combining them into one package because it's for a 9 and 11-year-old siblings, and a lot of things here had multiple 2-in-1 packs, so it just looks better as one. So they are traveling to Legoland. We always like when we can put some kind of theme related to where you're going, like the beach, Legoland, or how you're traveling, fun things to do on the plane into the package. And then we go with your interests, and then my main objective is when a person gets tired of doing one thing, they have things available to change categories entirely. So that it's not like, I'm done with this coloring book, let me go to another coloring book. It's, I'm tired of an activity book, I just want to squish something. So usually the categories that I try to hit are some kind of craft, some kind of game or puzzle, something squishy and something fidgety, and then some kind of pretend play that we get here with the minifigures, kind of double duty there. So these 9 and 11-year-olds are going to be headed to Legoland with a vacation activity book that this one definitely skews older, and we do look through these. We don't just pick something for you and realize later that it was for a 3-year-old. So vacation activity book. This I think both of them will enjoy, and it can be done with their new Ninja Knockout pens that are pens that write, but they also are kind of like the Rock'em Sock'em robots, so they can also battle it out. And the boy, one of his interests listed was karate. So they're hitting a lot of uses here. And then this one I might still change this out. The sister liked The Little Mermaid and horses and unicorns, but I might go a little more gender neutral with this. I am actually now officially going to go more gender neutral with this because this one looks gendered. But this is what's super cool about these new Plus Plus activity books is that on every page, they give you the 2D and the 3D build for both for what you're making. Yeah, so then you have the pieces in here with the storage, and you can go through and build 2D and 3D multiple things within one theme. So there are other themes. I know there's outer space. What's another one? But I'm going to switch this to something more neutral since I made it one package. I pulled this one. I had it as 2 packages. This one's going to stay looking kind of gendered, mainly because it's $8, so it lets me go really far in the package. So this is $100 for the 2 kids total, but it's a travel-themed coloring book, and then it also has all these like inspirational quotes in it. Wherever you go becomes a part of you somehow, and so it's just for doodling and coloring. And I don't, I haven't met the brother. I don't know if he'll use it or not. A lot of times, usually girls like coloring more than boys do by these ages, but there's definitely a chance that they're both going to be interested and use that with and see, I'm always going for like fit as much in here as I can. So we did the double-sided markers so that we could do $6, but still get 12 colors. Like I said, I'm a firm believer that there needs to be something squishy or cuddly. I'm not going to put anything cuddly in any of these fake ones. Okay, mistake. Squishy or cuddly in every travel package because the comfort that those bring and how much it helps with this kind of travel anxiety or just with travel boredness is high. This gear cube, because it said that he liked busy toys or something like that, but he's 11. So this gear cube, I played with one of these this weekend. it glides so smoothly, and I am not a cube person. I am a puzzle person, not a cube person. But this one, I was like, oh, I would enjoy this just for the fidget of it. So this one, I think, without knowing it, can go either way. And then these are magnetic travel puzzles, so these get progressively harder, and they'll both be able to work on them. I would guess most likely they'll do it together, but the pieces are magnetic, so they're not going to lose them, and they're in a travel tin. And so I feel like 2 kids for $100, they're going to be in pretty good travel shape there. Okay, so that's the one I was building, and then I was like, let me just pull a few sample items from other age groups to just kind of talk through what we're usually thinking about when we're making these. So this would be for a toddler, and I would love it if we were magic, but we're not. Traveling with a toddler is tough. We're going to try to make it less tough, but we probably can't get it all the way to easy. So with that expectation in mind, the first thing, and this is the feedback I get to, I am a firm believer in books that have some kind of manipulative or activity to them when you're in the car that the kid can do themselves. These are for pre-literate kids for sure, because they're going to look at this and they're going to see the shapes, but also it's a color and it's a shape and it's an object, and it has the popper. So where this looks like, oh, this is only how many pages, how much time is the kid going to get out of this, I think you might be pleasantly surprised. And we go with the smaller size for the travel so that it's just easier to manage. And then something like this, the Muddle and Match, if they have an older sibling back there to read to them, great, but otherwise they're just going to think that it's hilarious to start changing the feet and the heads and the bodies and make these totally mismatched things. And again, I think you might be surprised younger than you would expect how much kind of enjoyment a kid's going to get out of this. It's nice too to see how much they do without a leader, you know, when they're just kind of stuck in the car seat on their own with these books that normally probably an adult is also helping them with. They go really far. Now this is our coloring for our toddler, so this is like a water wow. This is a magic water reveal, but what I like about this is that it has the foam tip rather than the brush, so it's not going to get destroyed as quickly. And I know when I'm traveling, storage pouches like this end up being like, I need to put my cell phone in something at the beach. Where's that package that toy was in? So a little double duty there. I would probably include extra tiles too with this, but this is a play tab on the go, so you can get extra tiles and swap these out and keep them busy, like the same thing as a busy board, but this can hook on to your stroller or your car seat. And then a calm down sensory bottle, because that, again, traveling's tough. Traveling's tough when you're an adult, so it's really tough when you're 2. So these are some of the things that I like for a younger kid. I always gave my kids a new stuffy when we were going on a long trip, when they were really little, because the amount of time I would look in the backseat and they would just be cuddled up with their new stuffy, and the new stuffy would have a name, and the siblings' new stuffy would have a name, so it turned into pretend play and comfort, would end up being a lot of the trip. So this is missing a stuffy. It needs one. Okay, now we're going to go up just a little bit. We're out of toddler, but to probably like preschool. So finger puppets are one of my favorite travel toys, because you get that pretend play, you kind of get the stuffy, but these I find are fun even for pre-verbal kids, so we can go younger because they're still having a story, acting out things with the finger puppets. It can be fun for everyone in the car to have one. So finger puppets, I think you just can't get enough of that open-ended play. Love getting a fresh Tony if you have a Tony box or a Yoto player. Pro tip though, don't forget to load it before you go so that you don't need the Wi-Fi connection in the car. So take your headphones, take your preloaded Tony, but I never told my kids that they had them. They would be a secret in the car when things got really fussy, that it would be like, hey, I have an Elephant and Piggy Tony. Do you want to listen to it? And then suddenly you have 40 minutes of them having a great time with their new Tony. I pretended these fake people were going to the beach. So a Bluey's Beach activity book. This actually skews older than I was thinking. So like I said, we look in it, but there's also a Bluey Puffy sticker book that would probably go in this age group. And then this would end up being more of a group car activity probably, but the create a story, I always like to have something on hand that like I can from the front seat, I'm clearly making all of this car travel. I can from the front seat be like, okay, I'm gonna get this out and we're all gonna draw cards and make up the story. And so something like that usually can kind of recenter people and bring everyone back to a group activity. Okay, now we're going older. Quite a bit older. This could be older elementary or like tween age.
Hello.
So multiple things in here. One, my absolute must-have on-the-go travel item is a pen and paper. A fresh notebook and
Hello.
markers or a new pen ends up being valuable at every restaurant, in every Uber ride, everywhere you go. You can even, like, we have smaller ones that that is what I like to take that fits in my purse. So that then if I forgot to grab other things before we were going to the restaurant, that the dinner took too long, I always have the pen and paper in there. These are super exciting. So this is a slightly bigger version. You've seen the Wigglets in the past, but these are the 3D printed, both fidgety and pretend play characters. The ones from this brand actually, too, side note, not relevant to this age kid, these are safety tested and they do have a 3+ rating. And then they have these play sets that come with, you know, some kind of home, which my daughter always likes, but storage too. So in here we have a penguin, a seal, and a narwhal, and I don't know, maybe because the igloo is like rainbow shaped, I thought that they just needed to also have a unicorn with it. So you could add all kinds of animals with it. Color your own stickers, because who wouldn't want to, right? And so it's like the only thing that makes coloring more fun is if you can color it and then hand out stickers. I've also found handing out stickers is a really fun airport activity. You know, you're sitting there coloring and there's a little girl upset nearby and you could be like, do you want a sticker? And it usually is like magic. And
That's
it's
brilliant.
the easiest thing to offer someone. So you get an activity for your kid to do and a really fun, like, can I give you a sticker? I just want this book. I mean,
Yes.
really is what it comes down to. So I was definitely assuming these kids were old enough to read How to Spot a Magical Woodland Creature. I like travel, what makes them really cool. And it's so pretty, like the flowers on that bat's head.
So pretty.
I know, it's so pretty. And then these are another favorite of mine, like the smelly balls. Those were scented. I didn't mention that before, but you probably picked that up from the name. These are fun because they're a squishy ball, but they glow in the dark and they have interchangeable outfits. So you can do some swapping and some trading. You get 3 in a pack. You get 3 in a pack for $8. So really cost effective. And then I just jumped right up to mom because I'm pretty sure, mom or dad, but anymore when I travel, which I've been on a lot of planes this year, I think probably people look at me, open my backpack, and they're like, is that a grown up or not? But you know what? I have really smooth traveling that way. I always take my novel, but then sometimes it's just not the right setting, or you're in a meeting where you're flying to and it's not really recommended to read your novel in the meeting, and you need something fidgety. So here are some of the things that I grabbed for theoretical me. One, I never travel without my Lifeline Slow Art. It helps with my flight anxiety. It gives me something really fun to do, and it really sparks questions of what is that. If you haven't heard the story before, the flight attendant bought one of these from me. Like, I wasn't traveling with one Cecilia. He was like, can I ask what you were doing? And I showed him, and I told about it, and then my husband threw in that I sell them, and he asked for my card, and then he placed an order. So they were that compelling in travel. This is my favorite personal fidget. I like this when you're in the meeting to be moving it around. A sugar squisher, just a really great squish, which I've already talked about. And then I love puzzles and puzzle games, and I haven't done these, but mindfulness puzzles for de-stressing, and they're on cards, so you're not feeling overwhelmed by like, I'm only on level 3 of 70. I think is really cool that you just like do one card at a time, but ones that are made to not be stress-inducing. Find the odd one out. Ooh, that one's some math. I don't know. 91 puzzles in here. So all the way from baby, we'll do our best, up to mom and dad. We love helping your travel go as smoothly as possible. So let us know when we can make an on-the-go package for you, and we'll get this real one down here packed up and shipped out. Everyone have a happy summer and safe travels. Bye.